I owe everything to
Anyway,
Hades, so that's why I put in a lot of work and try to take leadership and try to, set shit up and
okay, your
I
reputation was
guess.
like mine, bro. At the end of the old
Oh,
days,
mine was
like,
worse, bro. Mine was worse. I
nah, nah,
was
nah.
known
No
as
one's got a worse
everything.
reputation. Nah, 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 nah. That's definitely you can't compete for me, man. I
I mean,
was
you
shoot
had
on
Rust at
sight.
least.
No, okay. Before I'm talking before that, bro. When I was solo, my reputation back then was even worse. But specifically among Southside gangs, Northside gangs didn't give a fuck. But
Yeah.
Southside gang, I was basically shoot on sight for Vargos, Ballers, and GSF.
Hmm.
But that was kind of my own doing because I used to sell blue on all their streets because whoever wasn't watching their block, I'd just go sell to make money. So I'd tank all their rep.
That's funny.
But yeah, I knew your reputation because at some point in the later days, your whole concept of you coming hanging out with Russ was brought up. I can't remember. A couple of us had heard of your reputation. You had a like. I can't even remember what the reputation was. It was just that you were like hard to deal with, basically.
Yeah, I was a hothead.
And
Hothead. That was like before I learned my harsh lesson, right? Which caused this whole reform thing, right? I mean, I wouldn't even call it a reform thing because it wasn't intentional. I just got fucking thrown under the bus and thrown into the dirt. You know, Eventually I just fucking realized what to do and what not to do.
because you were with BBMC for a while at the end, if I remember correctly.
I was just hanging out with them like a hangy kind of thing, but it kind of time zones didn't mesh.
Hmm.
So,
I don't know.
yeah.
There was just so many weird, like I use the term weird a lot, but I don't mean it in the same context that people usually mean it in the city.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, um, but yeah, it was just such a weird coincidence of like opinions, like people being like, "Oh, he's a gang hopper." No, he doesn't have any loyalty. That was a common one.
I mean, you want to know why people said that? Because, you know, a lot of the gangs that I try to join just didn't want me. So, the gang doesn't want me. What other opinion, or not opinion, what other option do I have? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like,
I think the only
it's
reason
not that I
I think
intentionally wanted to hop, it's just that the gang I tried to join just didn't want me, so I
well,
had to try with another gang. They didn't want me either, you know what I mean? Like,
from my perspective, back then you were brought up. You were bowlers, and then you never formally joined another gang, so I didn't really consider that hopping. But I think because we were already having our own issues, I think we passed on you because if we were already the last choice to hang out, then we didn't want to be like the backup option that you would immediately jump ship from.
yeah, I mean, I think Bruno wanted me to be a hang around in the end of days, but
Yeah, I think it might have been Bruno who brought it up. Someone did. Someone brought you up in a formal capacity. Like, yeah, we should definitely look at this. And based on what we knew about you from the city, it was like, well, yeah, we give people second chances, but we're already having our own problems. And if he's already gone through, 3 or 4 hang around stages, we don't want to be the last pick draft.
yeah, I get it.
But it's good that things worked out with Hades, and I can respect that. I mean, Raymond gave me a second chance back in the day when I was persona non grata with the Southside. Gave me a chance to actually do something a bit more meaningful, so he has my eternal loyalty for that. I'm sure it'll be the same for you to Hades as a whole.
Oh yeah, bro, everything I do is because of that chance that I got. I got picked up from the deep end when I lost hope, right? I never even thought I would ever be a part of Hades, but I just felt so welcomed when I first started hanging out. I never started hanging out with Hades with the intentions of joining because I knew how that ended the last 3 times I tried joining a gang. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it just happens, man. I didn't expect to be starting a gang with Raymond when it happened either. I was just his employee for Better Life.
Yeah, like when I'm telling you, like, nobody wanted me, like, even the closest people I had in the city, the people that you'd call family, wouldn't even want to hang out with me. I mean, in the end of the day, all those people that turned their back on me and never, 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 ever, ever fucking that I felt like I had a chance because of it. I won't forget that. But another thing I won't forget is Hades and what they gave me. But nobody ever did. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Fair.
Especially KJ and Ray.
I'm sure you'll do fine, man.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So what's your next goal? So, because obviously, I was talking to Perez about it. Like, the underbosses, there's what, 3 of them now? 4? No, KJ, Reggie, Perez. Am I forgetting someone?
Oh, that's it.
3?
Yeah.
Ah, I thought it was 4.
Perez, KJ, and Reggie.
And like if Hades continues to expand, they're gonna need to expand that structure because Perez, like, what, KJ doesn't come around that much, from my understanding, and I don't know. Reggie is Reggie. I don't know how much he has to do with day-to-day management. But I know Perez does a fuck ton.
I mean, it comes back to the point before. You know what I mean? Like in the end of the day, these guys are underbosses, and they are the ones that make the calls when they're around. But when they're not around, I feel like, you know, if things don't get in check, things get to chaos and nothing gets done. So
that's what I'm saying. Is
that's where I come in
expands,
and I step up for the benefit of the gang, right? So you might ask me like, are you doing this to you know, become an underboss? Are you doing this to become, you know, higher up? For me, it's pretty simple. What Hades has given me, I'm forever indebted to them. So I'm gonna try my best to push this gang forward, regardless of what rank I am. Be it associate, member, boss, underboss, I'll still put in the same amount of work to repay, you know, what the gang has given me so far.
You should definitely be rewarded for those efforts, though. Yeah, at some point.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be a title.
but that's not up to me to decide. I can't be like, oh yeah, I want to be an underboss, you better make me an underboss, or I want to be a boss, you better make me, or whatever. That's
obviously
up to them to decide.
If you value your life,
exactly.
you're not going to make demands.
No, but it's not about demands. It's just the principle of, oh, I deserve an underboss. Why am I not an underboss? I would never think that. You know what I mean? That's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
If they deserve, if they think that I deserve it, that means I deserve it. If they don't think I deserve it, then I don't deserve it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can still have a goal without it being entitled. Goals and
True.
entitlement aren't the same
I mean, the
thing.
goal, listen, there's only one goal. From now until I die, is to push this gang forward, right? And whether I do it as a member, as an associate, or as a lieutenant, or as an underboss, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna keep doing that goal, right? That's the goal.
I mean, it makes sense if you're the only one who really wakes up this film, and you're doing the majority of the organizing eventually. And I'm sure they'll make that decision on their own, and they might have their own reasons.
Yeah, exactly. In the end of the day, it's not something like I really talk about a lot, because in the end of the day, I don't have a say in it. But I'm gonna be pushing this gang forward, regardless. You know what I mean? That's my goal. I don't care.
Yeah.
If I'm lieutenant or if I'm a member.
You feel like you could push it forward more, though, if you had, like, the ability to organize people on a formal level?
Well, the thing is, I organize it as is, you know what I mean? And thankfully, this gang is very well constructed, so people do listen when I try to organize something. You know what I mean? All it took was a couple of times for Ray and Benji, you know, during, like, conflict or something, to be like, okay, Tic-Tac, you do this and that. Get these people to do this and that, and everybody, you listen to Tic-Tac. That's happened a couple of times, and all it took was those couple of times, and ever since, I've just been, you know, people, thankfully, they listen.
That's fair. But yeah, I think it'll be fine. It's pretty solid foundation. I just know how much Perez does. Like, I don't know what, you know, I see a bit of what Reggie does. I don't see much of what KJ does. I don't know how much, like, backbone support there is, but I do know that Perez works himself quite a bit, and he has a habit of doing that in the past, where he, like, takes on too much responsibility himself and then crashes out and burns up. So at that point, like, I feel like eventually they'll have to distribute, you know, some responsibility downwards. But then again, I also don't know how much slack KJ picks up and Reggie picks up, because I only really know Perez, and I've only seen what he does for Hades so far. Because from my point of view, Reggie's a fentanyl cook and a decorator, and that's his role. I don't see much else. So
I mean,
can't make
honestly,
a fair
Reggie doesn't
judgment.
give a fuck about anything else. You know what I mean? But he's still an OG, and he still knows what he's doing. That's why he's in the position he's in. You know. I have respect to all my underbosses and bosses, and never did I ever have a thought that, oh, what the fuck is this guy doing up there in the underboss section? You know what I mean? Like, even though all he does is like fend cook and, you know, decorating, but the guy knows a lot of shit, and what he says happens, and that's what you need. You need structure, and you need people to listen to their underbosses.
Yeah, I mean, I said to when Ray asked like why I had qualms of joining and whatnot, it's like similar thing really is that even though I respect the current underbosses and the current structure seems pretty good, like because I would be joining, I just kind of don't want to have the responsibility of leading anything anymore because that shit sucked. It's quite impressive that Hades has done pretty well so far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Functions
I'm sure it'll
well.
be fine for you, man. And I've heard good things about you from people. You know, you talked about a fair bit, even before I met you. I mean, you're the only Hades member that I knew by name before I even met you, Hades. So that should say some good stuff about you. You have been mentioned.
In what sense?
In a positive sense, nothing negative. This guy's fucking shit. We're getting rid of him
hey,
next month.
listen, don't get me wrong. You know, I'm not blind to my actions, right? And the way I used to be. I was fucking idiot. But sometimes it takes you to be an idiot for you to learn how to be the best version of yourself, you know? Because if I didn't go through that phase of being an idiot, right? And being beat to the fucking ground and thrown in the dirt because of it, I would have probably been that way in Hades, which would have 100% gotten me kicked out or not even blooded in the first place. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for everything I've been through and all the, lessons I've learned. So, because it got me to this point. Know what I mean?